Tappei has just released the most important side story for ReZero ever. For those that don't know, Isekai Quartet is coming out in the movies, and Tappei wrote a ReZero side story to go along with it. This side story features Hoshin of the Wastes, and Hoshin mentions characters like Flugel, Satella, Reed Astria, Echidna, and Farcel Lagunica, because he was a part of their squad. So yes, this Alec Hoshin that you see in the Isekai Quartet movie is the real Hoshin of the Wastes. This is him, and he's not an Isekai character. So this video will cover the side story. Per usual, this was live blogged by Ice in the Witch Code Translation Discord, so all credit to him. The story begins with Hoshin waking up. We see that he's wondering what's happening. We see that the man has gone through many unordinary things, such as being chased by a true dragon, swallowed by a great flood, and took part in a bloodless siege of a fort of barbarians where he cross-dressed. Quick editor's note: for those wondering, the true dragon is most likely Volcanica, swallowed by a great flood is most likely the great flood of Prestella, in which Typhon was trapped. As for the bloodless siege, I'm not too sure what that's referencing, but he cross-dresses, so this is very similar to Subaru's cross-dressing in Arc 7. We also see that the man spent 3 nights and days between death due to an unknown illness. The man utters the words, "I thought that there would have been signs when I was taken in by Reed and Farcel in the middle of the night to the great waterfall, or when Echidna blew up the forest by accident." This is referring to the wasteland he found himself in. The man is surprised that he's alive, at least in comparison to his allies. Not only that, we see that this person walks with a cane. We see that this man would occasionally walk slowly, and then he would be kicked in the back by some of his travelling companions. We also see that this man was taught what a massage was from Flugel, both what the massage is and what the English word for it is. We see that the man gave himself a massage the night before, and here he is. The man comments that it's strange waking up in an unfamiliar place, but states that Flugel mentioned that it happened to him, and he should have taken it seriously. The man needs to try and survive in the wasteland. We see that at one point the man would have died, but he was saved by a kind person. Editor's note is implied that this person was Satella. We see that the man is stranded in a wasteland, but he has a backpack of goods with him. He also comments that if he lost his cane, he would be sure that Farcel would yell at him. After all, Farcel was the one that gave him the cane. We see that Hoshin considers himself the second most likely to die, and believes that Satella would be looking for him. He also states that he believes Echidna would be frantic if Satella disappeared. He believes that Reed Astria is alive, and Farcel's personality wouldn't allow him to die. Hoshin thinks about Flugel, stating that Flugel is the most likely to die out of the group. Hoshin's goal is to find his allies. Time passes, and we see that 2 weeks have passed, and the man is still roaming around. Hoshin found water. He's travelling upstream to find civilization, but to no avail. We see that at one point, some time ago, Hoshin wanted to take his own life, but he was saved by a gentle hand. He thinks about his comrades. He believes Satella would be in tears, angry at him. Flugel would be red in the face, feeling indignation. Reed and Echidna wouldn't be that interested, and Farcel wouldn't be able to sympathize with him. Time passes, and we see that Hoshin doesn't know how much time has passed. He tried to get through each day to stop his spirit from dying. He talks to the trees, to the water, to the bushes. He misses Reed Astria, he misses Echidna, he misses Flugel, he misses Farcel, he misses Satella. He misses his friends. He wants to see them. The feelings of loneliness swells up, and he throws his cane to the floor and he kneels down. This man, Hoshin, hates the sky, almost as if the sky is looking down on him. This was the true nature of Hoshin slipping through. The man was someone who needed a purpose, being needed by someone, being by someone's side. Hey Alex-san, won't you try and live for the sake of us and not die? There was once someone who said that to him, which pulled him up from the water. A person who had a rough destiny, but was pure and honest. Alec Hoshin didn't imagine he would have to withdraw from the journey halfway through. It was a journey to save the world. He imagines that without him, the rest would be fine. He imagines that they would be sad without him. But she, implying Satella, and the others would lift their head and continue their walk onwards. Hoshin looks up and sees a golem, and remembers the words said to him by Flugel, that it wasn't violence that truly killed humans, but despair. We see that Reed Astria heard Flugel say this and proceeded to beat up Flugel, and then Flugel took back his words. The golem aims to kill him. However, a small shadow intervenes. She doesn't look human and has a sharp look to her eyes. We see that 3 months ago, this girl noticed an energy disturbance and came to where Hoshin was, and wonders who Hoshin is. We see that the girl is called Petelguese. She's the girl from the Isekai Quartet movie. I will put her image on screen. I'm not too sure on her name. We see that the girl has a sway over the golems, and Hoshin isn't really familiar with the word golem. Either way, the man introduces himself as Alec Hoshin and wants to shake the girl's hand and tells the girl to call him Alec. The girl offers Hoshin a place to stay and hums a theme song, and Hoshin recognizes the word Neko. We see that the girl lived in this world alone until Hoshin showed up, and then the story ends. So quite a lot of information was revealed. We now know that Hoshin was not an isekai character from the way he talks about stuff. For example, he seems surprised to be summoned to a different world. He mentions how it happened to Flugel and he should have paid attention, which if he was an isekai character, then he would have already had that experience because he would have been summoned to Earth. From Earth to the ReZero world. Not only that, he has like super dark red hair. He doesn't look like an isekai character like Aldebaran or Subaru, for example, or Flugel by that matter. Not only that, what's really important is that, of course, Alec Hoshin being summoned to the Isekai Quartet world is not canon. However, what's really interesting, and many people seem to forget, is at the end of Arc 6, there was a monolith on top of the Pleiades watchtower. There was 4 male handprints and 2 female ones. Now, Tappei has said that Echidna hasn't been to the Pleiades watchtower. However, this could be that name game he plays where he goes, well, Echidna hasn't been there, but Echidna has, if that makes sense, because there are different Echidnas. There's the Tea Party one, there's the Coffin one, there's Echidna the Fox Spirit. So I guess we can actually figure out whose handprints were at the top of the tower now. So you have the 2 female handprints are Echidna, which is the Coffin one, and Satella. And we know it's Satella's because it matches with Emilia's. And the other 4 male handprints are Flugel, Hoshin, Farcel, and Reed Astria. So we should know the 6 people that saved the world, and Hoshin was one of them. Of course, in the real ReZero timeline, Hoshin doesn't get summoned, but everything he says in the side story is canon, apart from the stuff about him getting summoned, because in the real ReZero timeline, he doesn't get summoned. So he knew Satella. Satella saved him from when he tried to take his own life. So it's really interesting. We also know that he most likely learned all the stuff from like pre-Stellar, like the Japanese culture. This is the reason why in Arc 5, Subaru said that it felt a bit off. It was Japanese, but not true Japanese. So Hoshin most likely learned that from Flugel. So Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. I can't believe this was in a side story.